Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending upon where it is that you are watching from. Welcome back to Facing Reality. It's me, January, and today we are continuing our trial watching experience of Mark Redwine. He is accused of second-degree murder of his son, Dylan, who was 13 at the time when he went missing. He went on a court-ordered visitation to visit his father for Thanksgiving. And unfortunately, due to Mark's actions, Dylan never did come home. We have watched his mom, Elaine, on the stand. We have watched his brother, Corey, on the stand. Mark just kind of sits there. There's some absolutely crazy details to this story. And if you haven't seen them yet or you haven't heard of it, I really highly suggest that you go to our playlist that's on this page and go back to the beginning. We kind of did a recap the very first day and then opening statements, etc. Keep in mind, I don't have control over what it sounds like in the courtroom, our camera angles, all of that good stuff. Due to COVID, we were able to actually see this trial. And thankfully, because I'm able to share that with you guys. But to get us started, I did come across a article on it's the Durango Herald. And this is going to kind of recap the last 2 days that we have had Corey on the stand, Dylan's brother. And then it's going to kind of introduce Kathi Berry, which is today's witness. So here we go. So this is from the Durango Herald. It says Corey Redwine says he sent sordid photos to his father during a dispute. Former CBI agent testifies about blood in Mark Redwine's home. So this article was June 24th of 2021, and it was written by Patrick Amario. I don't want to pronounce that incorrectly. It says, Corey Redwine testified Thursday that he still loves his father, Mark Redwine, despite disillusionment with him since the death of Corey's younger brother, Dylan. The disillusionment began with Dylan's 2011 discovery of sordid photos of their father, was only compounded by Corey's belief that his brother died at the hands of his father. I wish we were here under different circumstances. I still love him. I wish I didn't have to be here, Corey said. Corey Redwine, who was 29 at this time, was called to the stand by the prosecution in the trial of Mark Redwine, who was charged with second-degree murder and child abuse resulting in the death of 13-year-old Dylan during a court-ordered parental custodial visit during the Thanksgiving holiday back in 2012. The first of the boys' remains were found in June of 2013. Redwine has pleaded not guilty, saying he left his house to run errands on November 19th of 2012 and returned to find Dylan missing. Prosecutors allege Redwine killed his son on the night of November 18th, 2012. And just for some context, guys, Dylan arrived at his dad's house on the 18th. So it's not really like there was, a whole lot of time or he spent a lot of time there. Like this happened like instantly, immediately. Let's see. On cross-examination from defense attorney John Moran, Corey Redwine revealed he texted the sordid photos Dylan had discovered to Mark Redwine. The photos showed Mark Redwine dressed in women's underwear and a diaper, eating feces from a diaper. I've shown those videos, or I'm sorry, not videos, those pictures. They're here again on the playlist. There's been a couple days that we've pulled them out. Also, if you want to just look for yourself, down in the description box, there is a link to the Colorado Judicial Court System website, and the state and the defense evidence exhibits are there, and you can look for yourself. I believe the pictures that we are referencing are 17, 18, and 19 when you go on there. I'll let you look them up for yourself. I won't show them to you today because I just ate and that shit is gross, literally. Okay, Corey Redwine said he texted the photos during a dispute with his father, who was upset that Corey had left liquor bottles at Mark Redwine's property while Corey was staying there with his girlfriend. Mark Redwine sent photos of the liquor bottles to Corey, and in response, Corey Redwine texted the sordid photos to his father. In text messages accompanying the photos, Corey wrote to his father, "I've got some pictures too." Go Corey. He followed up with further angry texts to Mark Redwine, including, "Hey, beautiful, you are what you eat. Look in the mirror." Oh, go Corey. Okay, there's Mark right there sitting in court. He's got his hair done up nice. He's got a nice suit on. That's far cry from what we've seen whenever this first happened and he was arrested. He was real shaggy looking. He's a truck driver, so he didn't have to necessarily dress nice to work. But, don't they always dress up and look good in court? Always. Corey Redwine also discussed meeting Mark Redwine in December of 2012 at the Sky Ute Casino in Ignacio to discuss the search for then still missing Dylan. Corey said he told his father that he suspected him of killing Dylan. Another witness, Kathi Berry, so that's just kind of a recap of some of the stuff that we heard over the last 2 days. Now we're going to see Kathi Berry, and she is a friend. So another witness, Kathi Berry, heard about the case on Facebook and joined the search effort. She will testify, says she testified Thursday, but we'll see her today, about a confrontation with Mark Redwine at his Vallecito home shortly after Dylan's remains were found in June of 2013, and that's according to the Denver Post. Berry said she and another woman, Denise Hess, drove to Redwine's house to confront him about a text he sent to his ex-wife, Elaine Hall, concerning Hess, who was suffering from colon cancer, a disease from which she's later going to pass away from. Redwine had texted saying that he hoped Hess would die from cancer. Give you a little tidbit on how Mark was. And we saw a few clips of the Dr. Phil show where Elaine was on there, and they all just kind of stated like when he was mad, he was revengeful, he was mean. If someone angered him, he was crappy to him, and this kind of shows it. Hess began shouting at Mark Redwine from the vehicle. Berry testified she lost her composure when Redwine shouted at Hess that he hoped she would die from cancer. Berry took her seatbelt off, jumped over Hess in the passenger seat, and was closest to Redwine and shouted at him, "Blank eating blank," according to the Denver Post. Berry testified that Mark Redwine then picked up a log and lifted it as if he might hit the vehicle or the women who were in it. She yelled another vulgarity at Mark Redwine before speeding away, she testified. And there's Corey. That's Dylan's brother. Let's see. Amber Harrison, who was Elaine Huff's divorce and custody attorney, who later befriended Hall, also is going to testify. Through tears, Harrison recounted the legal advice she gave Dylan's mother after Hall asked if there were any other options besides sending Dylan to stay with his father as part of the court-ordered custodial visit. It's so sad because he did not want to go. He went and spoke to the judge, just him and the judge. He told him he didn't want to go, and he was forced to, and he never returned. And it's so sad. I told her she had to put Dylan on the plane or she would be charged with contempt of court, Harrison said after taking several seconds to regain her composure. I'm sure it weighs on her heavy. I mean, while none of that is her fault, and, by no means did she, make those choices. That was all on Mark. But, think about it. We all have the what ifs, and if I could have did something better, and she had a hand in making sure that Elaine put Dylan on that plane. Harrison interviewed Dylan before he gave private testimony to then 6th Judicial District Judge David Dickinson, the judge in the August and September 2012 custody hearing. Harrison said Dylan wanted to live with his mother, and she advised him to be honest in conveying his views to the judge, and she assured Dylan that Dickinson was someone he could trust. Dylan told Harrison the sordid pictures of his dad creeped him out, and he didn't want to be around his father. So there's the answer to some of our questions, right? We were wondering, had Dylan voiced his opinions to the court? We know at least that he did to his mom's attorney. Whether that, that's kind of hard. You're a child, for one, and then for two, you got to talk about this. For one, you're a kid. For two, you're a kid who saw this. For three, you're a kid who saw this and it was your dad. And then for four, you've got to talk about it. Oh, it's gotta be difficult. Harrison said she was unsure if Dylan conveyed his feelings about the photos to Dickinson, who later became incapacitated with a medical condition, and then he died in 2017. Also on Thursday, law enforcement officers involved in the search for Dylan and later death investigation began to testify. Joe Clayton, a now retired Colorado Bureau of Investigation agent, an expert in blood splatter analysis, crime scene investigation, and serology, the study of blood and body fluids, was called to the stand by prosecutors. Clayton said 2 areas in the living room of Mark Redwine's Vallecito house where small amounts of blood were discovered using chemical analysis concerned him because they indicated some cleaning might have occurred at the scene. We know cleaning occurred at the scene because there was no, it was all cleaned up, just kind of like the Gannon Stout case. By the time they get there that evening to check on this runaway child, it was all gone, all taken care of. Blood located on the floor of the living room that was under a rug might indicate cleaning because the rug did not test positive for blood, something Clayton would have expected if someone had blood on the rug and it soaked through to the floor. So that rug was kind of used to cover the floor, basically, is what he's saying. Another method of cleanup, right? Blood located... where read that, sorry. Also, blood on a cushion of a dark brown love seat indicated it might have been diluted by cleaning agents to hide its presence against the dark color of the cushion, Clayton testified. Finally, Clayton said the number of areas testing positive for blood in the living room, including on the top of the coffee table and the cushion of another couch, might indicate movement in the living room during a bleeding event. I believe it was a physical altercation that took place and Dylan got shoved. In my personal opinion, I feel like he hit his head possibly on that coffee table, and that kind of gave the blunt force trauma, but there's no telling. Only Mark knows because Dylan is unfortunately gone. If a small amount of blood had been found in one spot, Clayton said that could be explained by a single event like a cut. However, the more numerous positive tests for blood were concerning, in quotes, indicating movement around the room during a bleeding event. So there you go, guys. Just kind of a little recap of Corey being on the stand the last 2 days and an introduction into Kathi Berry that we are getting ready to see here in just a moment. I appreciate you guys being here. If you haven't already, please hit that like button, subscribe. That way you'll know when we go live again. And let me get this all set up for us. And we will start. This is actually day 4, I believe, in the court system. But we are, we're going at our own pace. I am going to put this on 1.25 speed just to kind of speed it up a little bit. Sometimes they can be quiet, and we may go ahead and skip past some of the sidebars, etc. Because we already know what happened. We're just here to learn, learn from it all. Alrighty, guys, here we go.
Please rise. Thank you. Yes, we'll wait for the jury.
Judge, I notified Mr. Moran, but we were going to do the scene walkthrough after investigator Cowling at this point.
Okay.
It'd be a little sooner. We'll have Amber Harrison. We'll have 2 witnesses and then Tom Cowling, shorter ones.
Okay. Now we need to go tell her. Oh, rise for the jury. Sorry.
Let me just say, I have no problems until I actually start. It tells me my stream health is great. I don't know, guys. Bear with me.
We can be seated. Your next witness?
Thank you, Your Honor. The people call.
Okay, just a moment. Let me try to restart, see what we got going real quick. Bear with me.
We can be seated. Your next witness? Thank you, Your Honor. The people call.
Okay, just a moment. Let me try to restart, see what we got going. Bear with me.
Thank you. You can see.
Okay, maybe that'll be
We'll wait for the
smoother.
jury.
Judge, I notified Mr. Moran, but we were going to do the scene walkthrough after investigator Cowling at this point.
Okay.
It'd be a little sooner. We'll have Amber Harrison. We'll have 2 witnesses and then Tom Cowling, shorter ones.
Okay. Okay. Now we need to go tell her. Oh, rise for the jury. Sorry.
I may have to restart the stream altogether.
We should. Your next witness?
Thank you, Your Honor. The people call Amber Harrison.